My son just punched a girl. What do I do now? Hi, my name is Rick, and I want to thank you for taking a couple of minutes to join us on this No Perfect Parent podcast, where I share just a few of the tips I learned on my parenting journey. Well, this is actually my son Joel's story, so I'm going to let him start by telling you what happened. Here's what he wrote. When I was 10 years old, a villain entered my life. Her family started coming to the church where my dad was pastor. She was bigger than me, and she loved to bully me. At one after-church social event on Easter, she and two of her Amazon girlfriends pinned me against a wall. They held my arms while she slapped my face over and over again. I warned her to stop, but she didn't. In a surge of fury, I managed to break loose from her two Amazons and punched her in the face. She dropped to her knees, and her friends ran away. You know that my life is over feeling? Well, that's what I had. I stood there thinking, what have I done? Dad is going to kill me. A crowd began to gather. The girl's dad stormed up to my dad and demanded, "What are you going to do about this?" Half the church stood speechless. I knew it was going to get ugly for me. What happened next is an example of why my father is such an extraordinary man. He calmly asked me what happened. With tears in my eyes, I told him. He nodded, patted my shoulder, and said, sounds like she had it coming. Everyone knows that punching a girl is a no-no. It's clearly a crime punishable by spanking or at least grounding. Lord knows we can't have people running around punching girls. Society would go haywire. Dad needed to make an example of me in front of all those people. But he didn't. My dad's really good at not falling into the trap of simply reacting. Though he can be quite emotional, he always tries to evaluate each situation on a case-by-case basis. And he never seems fazed by what other people will think of his actions or inaction. He never punished me because I embarrassed him. Well, all right, that's Joel's story. Let me tell you my side of it. First of all, let me assure you that the outcome of this story would have been quite different if Joel had been older. He was only about 10 years old. I'm appalled at the thought of a man who is so weak and so impotent that he would try to establish his masculinity by inflicting any sort of pain, physical or emotional, on a woman. Real men protect women, no matter what. Rather than flaunt their insecurity by releasing their junior highish fury on them, real men protect women. But the same insecurity that drives an abusive spouse can also drive us as parents. I could have easily reacted in this situation. All eyes were on me. The audience contained several people who had mastered the Christian life. They always had the answer, often before they even understood the question. Though most of their children were running from God, they knew exactly how I should raise mine. And I was the pastor. My son had committed one of the unpardonable sins. You could almost hear many of them raising their mental gavels to render a ruling on how effectively I chastised this hardened 10-year-old criminal. Out of insecurity, I could have offered to hang the boy, and 5 of them would have run to grab the rope. But in my heart, I knew this was not a hanging offense. I didn't have to tell Joel it was wrong to hit a girl. He knew it was wrong. He didn't need to be brought to a point of repentance. He was already there. So I could please the crowd, or I could do what I sensed in my heart would please the Lord. Let my son know that even when he messed up royally, I was on his side. Now, even when we do have to take unpleasant actions to discipline our children, and believe me, Joel earned plenty of unpleasant actions, it is important that they know that we are on their side. We're doing this because we are for them, not against them. If I have to spank, if I have to ground, if I have to remove a privilege, or whatever, it's because I genuinely love them and I'm doing what is best for them. I'm not just releasing my frustration or trying to look good in front of my peers. It's all about them, their behavior, not some unmet need in me. Then we can genuinely grieve with them when we have to do what we have to do. It's far too easy to punish based upon how their misbehavior made us feel or made us look in front of our peers. Isn't it weird? We seem to never grow out of being concerned with what our peers are going to think of us if we don't meet their expectations. Make sure that whatever you do it because it is genuinely what is best for your child. You have no obligation to make the oglers happy, and 25 years from now, you won't even know where all those people live. but the relationship you're building with your child will hopefully be 25 years stronger and sweeter by then. Live for the long term. Hebrews 10:12 says this, God disciplines us for our own good. Let's be sure that's what we're doing when we discipline our children too, doing it for their good. Well, thanks for listening. And if this podcast has been helpful to you, I hope you'll share it with someone that would benefit from it also. And take a moment to subscribe right there below so you get each new update.